Hi, my name is Rika Bettino, and I'd like to welcome you this morning, whether you're calling in from and it's morning where you're at, or afternoon or evening. We're really happy that you're here. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate that you took the time today to spend it with us this morning. I'm sure if you were invited by a friend or family member or coworker, somebody that you met that was incredibly excited, it's because what you're going to hear is pretty special. And just to give you a little bit, I was actually born in Finland, but I've lived in the United States most of my life, and currently I live in New Jersey. And actually behind me though is Vietnam, sunrise in Vietnam. So this isn't what Jersey looks like right now. It's like 16 degrees. But but I know, you know what? I was one of those people that was super hardworking when I grew up, and I really wanted to be successful. And I went to school, got a good education, got a job, worked my little tiny hiney off. But what happened is that I found myself super frustrated because I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, but I was $40,000 in debt on credit cards in 1990. It was not a pretty picture, and I felt myself going backwards. And then I realized that successful people think a little bit differently than I did. And at that time, a friend, my best friend at the time, invited me to a call, just like, well, not to a call, actually to a meeting, but just like your friend did today. And I had the privilege of meeting a woman by the name of Sherry Sharman, who completely changed the trajectory of my life because, see, she was willing to coach me and teach me some of the things that set those successful people up a little bit differently. And so then she had called me about a year ago, and since then I've been super just loving life with being a part of this community and this club that you're going to hear about today. And so without further ado, the reason I can't stop smiling and I'm so incredibly excited is because you have and I have the opportunity today to hear from a gentleman who has gone, he's one of the most successful people I've ever met in my entire life. And in fact, I had to write down a few of the things because his resume is so expansive. He is well, obviously he's an international speaker. He's spoken to hundreds of thousands of people over the years. He's a best-selling author, generating over 3 billion, yes, with a B, in revenue. He is currently the CEO of one of the top largest proprietary trading firms, having funded over 50 million to talented traders. That's a mouthful. Could you see why I had to write that one down? And he's, you know what? And I've read this book. He's the author of The Unemployed Millionaire. It is such a great book, and I loved it. And I listened to it twice already. And he's got a new book coming out right now that's called How I Generated. Get this. How I Generated Seven Figures 6 times before the age of 30 and over 1 billion by 40. That's some serious credentials. And you know, I was taught a long time ago to like find somebody that has what you want, do what they do, and you'll get what they got. And so I'm going to be taking notes and paying attention because it's not many times in our lives that we truly get a chance to hear from somebody like that. The cool part is, yes, he's had all this incredible success. He's one of the top people, top leaders in our entire company, but also he's really just a down to earth person. If you met him on the street, you would not know that he's done billions of dollars in business. You wouldn't know that because he's just humble. And you know what? He never forgot where he came from. You see, because there was a day when he didn't have that success that he has today. Somebody else coached him, and he spends his time passing it on to people like you and me so we can go out and achieve whatever dreams that we have. Also, they may differ than billions, but we can go. He teaches us to achieve our dreams. And so I'm really excited. He's a father of three. He's happily married. He's got the whole package going on in life. And so without further ado, please help me welcome Matt Morris.
Oh my gosh. If you ever want to feel good about yourself, just have Rika introduce you on one of these Zooms. I didn't want to say anything. I was just going to let her keep going as long as you want. Just keep it flowing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that introduction. It has been quite the adventure in business, and excited to share with you today. I know some of you are brand new, have no idea maybe what you're about to listen to. A friend of yours said, "Oh my gosh, you've got to see something. Tune into this Zoom." And so want to just say welcome. We're glad you're here. And I'm going to start off being kind of overly transparent. People are like, "Matt, you are the anti-salesperson." When I heard about it, the last thing, and I am telling you, the last thing I was looking for was to add something else to my plate. If I had a crystal ball, I would probably read into that ball and say, you're a really busy person. Most of us are super busy. When COVID did what it did, I got into the financial services industry. When I was young, I wanted to be a stockbroker, and they wouldn't hire me because my credit was shot and I didn't have a college degree, and that dream faded away. But decided had some success in business, made some money, and had needed to invest it somewhere. And long story short, ended up starting a financial services company. And it is God willing, it's done really, really well. Our company does. Last year, a little over 40 million in sales. We have about 45 to 50 employees spread out around the world, tens of thousands of customers. And so as the CEO and founder of that firm, I am an amazingly busy guy. And so I didn't want to hear about anything else. But I trusted the person who introduced me to it. And I'm grateful I took a look at it, because when I saw it, it reminded me of an experience I had when I was 22 years old. And if you know my story, it took me a long time to have any amount of success. I failed in 11 businesses in a row. 11. It took me more than 5 years to become a full-time entrepreneur. And along that journey, I was 22 years old. I was living at home with my mom. I'm totally broke. My credit cards are maxed out. I feel like I'm banging my head against a wall. I've tried so many different things. I can't get anything to work. And so I went to the seminar and I went to learn from a guy. He was earning $150,000 a month back in 1990. What was that? 90, 98, 99, something like that. And I learned from him, and he taught me a few things. And I hadn't thought about this in years until I saw Viago. And he said something really profound. He said that in every adult's life, there's going to be 3, maybe 4 opportunities where you'll be in the right place at the right time. And if you realize it and take action, you can become wealthy. He said anyone can become wealthy. He said the difference between the rich and the poor is fairly simple. He said the rich aren't any smarter than the poor. The rich don't necessarily work harder than the poor. The difference is they recognize opportunity when they see it and they take action. And he said poor is actually an acronym. He said poor stands for passed over opportunities repeatedly. And that sunk in. And I remember leaving that seminar thinking, I can't wait for that opportunity. One of those 3 or 4 opportunities. I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be ready. And when that opportunity comes, I'm going to take advantage of it. And it didn't happen overnight. It took a couple years, but at the age of 24, I got presented one of those opportunities, just like a lot of other people did. I recognized the opportunity. I took action, took massive action. And within a few years later, I had over $1 million in my bank account in my 20s. And, those who know me, I'm not any smarter than anyone else. I just, one of those people who keeps their ear to the ground for something big. And when I saw this, I just realized this was another one of those opportunities. And despite being busy, despite not needing the money necessarily, I just realized this was going to be something really, really big. And if I didn't take advantage of it, it's not like opportunity goes away. Opportunity doesn't go away. It just passes on to someone else. And I just realized, like, I'm going to have a stomach ache if I watch a lot of other people create a ton of success with this. And then I passed it up. And so I said yes. And I am so thankful that I did. It was just over a year ago. In the last year, it has impacted my wife and my children in a big way. We just got back from vacation yesterday. We spent New Year's in Mexico, and we've traveled so much more than we have in the past several years. We have made a very significant income through this as well, sharing something that we love and care about. And so I'll get into the business model. And before I show any slides, most of you understand how the travel industry works. And so the founding group of leaders who started this company said, we want to do something different in travel. The way travel typically works, like when you go to book a resort, a hotel, a car rental, a cruise, where do you go? You go to places like booking.com, expedia.com, hotels.com, right? And when you go to those websites, you might get a deal, but you're booking at retail, right? You're booking retail travel. And what a lot of us may not be totally aware of is companies like booking.com. Booking.com is owned by Booking Holdings. Last year, Booking Holdings, they made $5.3 billion in profits, 5.3 billion in profits, up 40% year over year. The year before, I think it was 4.28 billion in profits. And those profits, where did they come? It came from us booking travel on their website. We go book a hotel, a car rental, a cruise line, a resort. We book on their site. They earn a commission from the travel supplier. And so Viago said, let's create a membership that is so valuable. Someone can go on 1 or 2 trips over the course of a year, save more than the cost of the membership. And what we'll do, we'll give our members private access to wholesale travel. We'll strip out those commissions, and all of us as members, we get to book at wholesale pricing, prices not available to the general public. And so if you don't own this membership, understand that you are paying way too much for your travel. And so with that out of the way, let me share the screen, and this will stop others. Okay, let me do that. And so here we go, Viago. First off, what does Viago stand for? Viago means let's go. How many of you want to just go? You want to go see the world, adventure, check off all those places on your bucket list. Finish your life with as few regrets as possible. That is a massive goal of mine. I want to be thoroughly used up when I'm done. I've been to 84 countries so far, and I can't wait to go to the next one. And so when you become a member today, you're going to have unlimited wholesale access to over 1 million properties around the world. Pretty much wherever you want to go, you now book at wholesale. Here's some examples that I pulled up. Las Vegas, public price $149 per night, our price $101. You're saving $48 a night, right? Here's Miami, Florida at the Sol, public price $391, our price $251. You're saving $140 a night. Here's New York, staying at a high-end property on Times Square, saving you $413 a night. Venice, Italy, saving you $150 a night. I could give you 1,000 of these. Johannesburg, South Africa, at the Doreal where I've stayed, saving you $137 a night. Okay. Cape Town, South Africa. Definitely put that on your bucket list. Staying at the 5 options, overlooking Table Mountain. You definitely want to climb Table Mountain. You climb through the clouds. It is an amazing experience. Only $54 a night. Wholesale rate, saving you $104 a night. That, on this case, it's a 53% savings. And so think about the places in the world that you want to go. Most people can't travel as much as they want because they can't afford to. And so when you're traveling at wholesale and you're being able to stay places at $54 a night, you can certainly travel a lot more than you are now. Now, my favorite part of our membership is our VIP escapes. These are 4- and 5-star curated trips, high-end properties. They've been vetted out. There's a host or a hostess on every trip. There's extras thrown in that you don't get if you were to book on your own, or if you were to book through any regular booking engine. You wouldn't get this experience. And while I'm going to show you some significant savings, the deal here is not the savings. Yes, you're going to save a bunch of money, but the deal is these are trips you cannot get anywhere else. Epic experiences. We just had one in Cabo. We had about 900 to 1,000 people in Cabo. I don't even have, it's so new, I don't even have the slides, but last month we had concerts on property. We had ATV riding. I mean, people just had an absolute blast. The first trip that I went on was Playa del Carmen, Mexico. We stayed at the Fives. You can look it up. It is a crazy nice property, all inclusive. All you can eat, drink, alcohol included, round trip transfers to and from the airport. You're getting a sunset cruise or a snorkeling excursion thrown in. We're doing dinners together, a 3-course farewell dinner. We're having a welcome reception, a meet and greet. I met people from Europe who I now today are still friends of mine. A year later, they're great friends of mine, and I wouldn't have that friendship if it weren't for meeting them on this trip. And I just remember this trip, it was $1,703 if you booked it on your own through the resort per person. Our price was $649. It gets a little better. We have a thing called Viago points. So just remember in your mind, Viago points. A point is a dollar is a point. And whenever you buy your membership today, whatever you spend on your membership, you're going to get the equivalent or more in points that you can use to further reduce the cost of these trips. So the $649 becomes $499 per person. So you're saving over $1,000. But again, I'm telling you, it is all about the experience that you have on the trip. Now, the next trip here, Bali, Indonesia. You definitely want to go there. I had such a blast. 5 days, 4 nights, round trip transfers, a welcome dinner, daily breakfast, a river rafting excursion. You don't think about Bali river rafting, but I'm telling you, it is absolutely epic. You're basically cruising through a big canyon. It is so awesome. $649 per person or $499 after points. Here is a trip we did to Dubai. Now, this is doing Dubai like most people will never do Dubai. A lot of people go to Dubai. They don't do it like this. You're getting tons of meals. I won't even read through everything, but you're getting a full day city tour in Dubai, an Abu Dhabi tour, another half day tour. You're getting lunch at a fancy restaurant, dinner at a fancy restaurant. You're getting a palace visit, a fountain show. My favorite experience of the whole trip was the desert safari. So you're racing around sand dunes in 4x4 vehicles. And then they finish it off with a barbecue dinner where you're watching the sunset over the desert. I brought my beautiful wife there, and I just remember I pulled her off to the side, away from everyone, and we just embraced each other and watched the sunset across the desert. I mean, that is an experience neither one of us will ever forget. And I just think that's what life is all about, is about chasing those peak experiences. And when you can do it at these prices, why not? Now, we also have Escape Your Ways. These are trips that are specially curated trips, special prices, extras thrown in, but you can book anytime. There's not going to be a group. It'll be you and whoever you bring on the trip with you. But these are all over. So Thailand, Greece, Spain, Italy. I saw one the other day. It was a cruise down the Nile River with guided tours. And so wherever you want to go, we've got a trip that fits your needs. You're also going to be able to save. The average family saves about $4,000 per year shopping online. Over 1,000 retailers save up to 50% on the things that you're buying anyway. You can save on your car insurance, your health insurance, computers, literally anything you would buy online. You can save a ton of money leveraging our buying power. And so pricing our membership, $450 one time, never pay that again, $99 monthly. You're getting 600 points immediately, 100 points every month. What are those points good for? Remember, when you go on those escapes, you can use the points to further reduce the cost of those escapes. And you're also getting an annual loyalty trip. Now, chances are you, like me, have other memberships. You have a gym membership, maybe a Netflix membership, whatever it is. How many of those do they give you a free vacation at the end of every year? No other membership that I have other than Viago. And so you're getting a 7-night hotel getaway every single year. You can bring 2 to 8 people. We've got dozens of properties, dozens of countries that you can choose from. And so that is Viago's gift to you for being a loyal member each year. And so that is our membership. If you have a desire to travel, if you want to make your life an adventure, check off those bucket place lists that you have, pick up a membership. You will be glad you did. And what I'll do now is I'm just going to shift gears and I'm going to talk about the opportunity. Now, this is totally optional. Just say optional in your mind. Many people just buy the membership. They travel, they save money, they have fun with us. But we have some of us who are ambitious, who would love to earn some additional residual income, can refer other members to the club through the marketing system that you're kind of watching in action right now. I'll talk more about that in a second. You can become a brand ambassador. Your startup cost to earn as much income as you would like is $49 whole dollars. Today, a year later, that's a $99 annual renewal. Now, I don't know if any of you have started a business before, but chances are it costs a lot more than $49. Chances are your overhead is more than $99 a year. My current company that I started was hundreds of thousands of dollars I had to invest to start this company. Overhead is hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Um, with Viago, I have no employees, and my income in Viago is catching up to my income as a CEO. And so that is an exciting thing. There's 5 ways we get paid in our compensation plan. Today, I'm going to talk about the first 3. Focus on those 3. The other 2 will take care of themselves. And one thing that I love about this is it is simple. Everyone who sees this, they just understand it. It makes sense. When you refer another member, you make $100. There's no limit to the amount that you refer. I have a guy that I referred to the club. I called him up. In fact, I reached out on WhatsApp. I said, hey, I want you to see something. I had him watch a video. He watched a 13-minute video that explained the whole concept. He said yes, he joined. He's now personally referred over 100 people over the last year. Personally. Crazy. That's intimidating to me because I haven't referred 100 myself, nowhere close. But you never know who you might know who would get really excited and tell the whole world about this, right? So refer 6 others, you make $600. Now, remember 6. When you refer 6, something cool happens. That monthly, that 99 monthly, it goes away. As long as you have 6 active members, you pay nothing for the membership. And even though you pay nothing for the membership, the company still gives you 100 points every single month. Every month, they give you 100 points to use towards one of those trips. And at the end of every 12 months, they're still going to give you that loyalty vacation, even though you're not having to pay for the membership. So you might be thinking right now, all right, I see why these guys are having a lot of success. I looked at this and I thought, all right, surely over the course of a few months, I could find 6 others who want to travel at wholesale, who want to adventure, who want to maybe earn some additional income. And so I thought, man, even if it took me 6 months to find 6 others, at that point, I own the membership for free, and they're basically just giving me free travel every single year, and I pay nothing for it. It is awesome. And so the next part, this is the biggest reason why I said yes to this, was the residual income. And Warren Buffett said it best. He said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. Something a mentor taught me when I was in my early 30s. He said, dig your well before you're thirsty. I became a millionaire in my 20s. And then in my early 30s, I always said, where did it all go? How many of you have ever said to yourself, I should be so much farther ahead than where I am in life? Have you ever thought that to yourself? I mean, that's where in my early 30s, it was like, I should be farther ahead. I should have a nest egg. And so at that point, I was like, all right, I better start investing. And most people, they just wait until it's too late. They're working into their 60s and 70s and 80s because they don't have any residual income, right? And so that's what I got excited about. Now, there's a 2-team system. It's a left team and a right team. I don't know why there's 2 teams, but there's 2, right? And as your network grows, notice I said network, your referral network, you refer a few people who refer a few people who refer a few people. Now, I've referred about 30 to the club. I've had several thousand members. Over the last year, several thousand members have joined. I've only referred about 30 in a year. It's turned into thousands. So what's cool about this is I'm able to be paid based on the referral network. So that's what these numbers are. When you have 10 members on your team, 5 left, 5 right, you're earning $50 a month. Now, don't quit your job yet. That'll buy you a nice lunch somewhere, right? But when your team grows to 20 members in your network, you're earning $200 a month. 50 members on your team, $500 a month. 100 members on your team, $1,000 a month. Now that's $12,000 a year in passive residual income. Now I've done enough real estate investing to know I would have to invest $150,000 to $200,000 to earn $12,000 a year passively on my money. Most people will work for 20 years. And depending on where they are, their retirement might be $1,000 a month, working for 20 or 30 years. And so we have people doing this in a matter of months. Now this continues. What's neat is when you hit this level, this is our sapphire level, 100 members on your team, you start earning a $50 bonus on every membership that comes in throughout your organization. So if you had 10 members join your team in a week, how much did you earn? $500 a week. If you had 20 members join your team in a week, how much are you earning? It's $1,000 a week on top of the $1,000 a month. So you could be earning somewhere around $5,000 a month at this level. This is where some people choose to fire their boss and do this full time. Okay, and this continues all the way down to 10,000 members on your team. There's that black diamond level. That's my personal goal here with Viago. 10,000 members on your team earns you $85,000 a month in residual income. It's a little over $1 million a year in passive residual income, not to mention the other bonuses on top of this. And so my wife and I have been able to achieve that blue diamond level, getting really close to the red diamond level here in the next month or two. We'll be popping that, and definitely very exciting. But let me turn it over to Rika again. Rika, you are such an amazing host. Oh my gosh, your smile is contagious. It like flow. You feel it through the Zoom. It is awesome. But I'll turn it back over to you. I know you have a couple of stories to share.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Matt. And yes, the first person actually that I'd like to go to is our friend Philip, who is on one of our trips right now. And Jerry and I were talking about it, and I'd love to have him share. Philip, are you somewhere that you could um
Yes, I
share
am here.
with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, how you doing, everybody? My name is Philip Rainey. I'm out of the state of Florida. Retired military, 23 years in the military, and now I'm law enforcement in Florida. But the great thing is, I'm on escape right now, and this is just a view of one of the hotels that we're in right now. So yes, the trips are real, the membership is real, and hey, I'm actually blessed to actually be part of Viago because being in the military, I relied on the military to travel the world, but now I'm able to go to places I wanted to go. So guess what? I'm in Egypt right now, enjoying the escape. So let's go, Viago.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're living vicariously through you on this one right now. Um, so I'm so happy that you were able to share from there and get on. You know what? The other person that I would like to go to right now is my dear friend Shar. If you could just share with us a little bit, could you share your experience with Viago?
Absolutely, Rika. Thank you, Matt, for that absolute incredible. Hold on, if you are not, there we go. Let's do this part. My name is Shar, currently here in the Colorado Rockies, and fun to be with you here today. Matt, thank you so much. Watch Matt walk through a lot of the journey that he has shared with you. It's too fun when you get to be with your friends in life, in real life, watching how an idea, a concept, a relationship, and one invitation can simply change. And that's the same thing that happened for me as I met a mutual friend of Matt and I's many, many years ago. And he kept telling me he was going to be my chief fun officer, my CFO. And see, he's only a few years older than my oldest child. And I just was blown. I didn't quite get how that worked. And because of that friendship, a while back, I got a phone call and I knew it was time to shut up and saddle up because I knew something fun was about to happen, much like what Matt said. And because of that, I'm here today in Viago. I live my life every day using everything Matt shared with you. It's amazing how little on the dollar you can have an epic life without an epic price. I also take advantage of that second part and become a residual earner and have the intention to meet you at Black Diamond, Matt, all the way to the top because I know by working together, we deal hope in the world and we impact it for good. And without God's grace, I would not be here today. And this, my friends in Viago, is the way. Thank you for having me, Rika and Matt, and it's back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Matt, you know what? I just am so excited to get to the training. If and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just share briefly because I know you guys met me before, but the reason that I got started with this company first was for travel. Secondly, after that, it was because you see, I've been a realtor for 25 years. I applied those principles Sherry taught me and went out and had some great success, but then it dawned on me that I work very, very hard. And in real estate, it doesn't matter how much I make one year, the next year I have to start all over again. And so, and hey, it's January. I'm lucky enough to have a closing starting out this week, but guess what? I got to hustle. And I thought, how long can I maintain this pace? I'm going to turn 60 in March. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get tired and I don't have a restaurant to sell. I don't have a business to sell. I am my business. So I thought, And when I looked at the compensation plan, because I'm a numbers person, I realized the potential. And so, really quickly, my husband and I got our Club Six. Then we went on to um, become residual earners and are working our way up the compensation plan. But more importantly, we're helping our friends and family do the same. And that's really fun. And we're getting to travel with them and do life with them and just be surrounded by positive, motivated people that are the biggest cheerleaders in my life. And you know what? We're having a blast. I hope you decide to join us. Thanks so much. Back to you, Matt.
Amazing. Thank you, Rika. Appreciate everyone sharing your story. And just think for a second, if you're looking at this screen, what is that level for you that would give you one more dollar in residual income than your bills? Because at that point, what do you have in your life if that's true? You have freedom, right? You have the freedom to make choices that most people will never be able to make. Choices whether to fight traffic to and from work or not. Choices to wake up to an alarm clock or not, right? For me, that's what this is all about. It's being able to help other people. What I see on a global scale right now, more than ever, this global inflation, people are struggling. They're struggling to get ahead. People are working 2 and 3 jobs to get ahead. And when you can bless someone with a part-time business that can allow them to earn not just trade hours for dollars, but earn residual income, it is such a blessing. And you're probably starting to see why we have so many people winning, right? We've got a product that is absolutely incredible, and a system that really, really works. And what I love about this is probably 9 or 10 months now, every single night when my wife and I go to bed, we wake up the next morning and people have joined our team. Now, we have no idea who they are. We don't know them, but we love them, right? So this is about expanding your capacity to love. You have people who start joining your team like, hey, who is that? Who is that? And then now they're in all these other countries. Our team has now grown to 60 countries around the world. It is such an amazing thing. And I just don't know any other opportunity that allows to earn this kind of residual income doing something so fun. And why it works. It is a proven system for people who hate selling. Now, you may love to sell, but the reason why this is working so well, it's not because we have thousands of salespeople. How do we have former kindergarten teachers winning big? How do we have former teachers winning big? How do we have nurses winning big? People who've never done anything ever in sales. How are they winning? And it's through a proven marketing system that you're watching in action right now. So the person who invited you on this Zoom, how much selling are they doing right now? How hard are they working right now? They're listening to me just like you're listening. Now, I like to sell. I love doing this presentation, and so I volunteer to do it. You never have to give a presentation like this. In fact, even though I like to sell, I want you to listen. This is a super important point. Even though I love doing this presentation, no one that I've enrolled in this company, the 30 or so people that I've enrolled in Viago, I never did the presentation. I invited them to a Zoom, or I invited them to look at a website that had the presentation, because I never wanted them thinking, ooh, I have to do a presentation to succeed. And the reason why such a huge percentage of people who see this say yes to it, why does everyone say yes? Right? Not everyone, but a huge percentage. Why do they say yes? Because they look at this and what hits in their mind is, I can do that. I don't have to give a presentation. I can invite. And so what is our job description here? It's to be a professional inviter. And if you're a salesperson, I don't want to talk you out of it, but I want to warn you. Here's the warning. You may be the best salesperson in the world. I've seen this happen. People who are like crazy good at sales. And they get in and they go to all their friends and they sell them and they give them a full-on presentation, and they may buy a membership, but then they don't want to do the business. Why don't they want to do the business? Because they're not sure they could do that. They don't want to go sell. So if you're a great salesperson, please don't go sell this. Be an inviter, invite someone to a Zoom, invite someone to a website, let something other than you do the presentation so people will go, I can do that. right? That's why this works. Now we have full training. We have our Viago Inner Circle audio, video training, the best, the people who are having the most success in our business. You can learn from them. We have live in-person events. We have an event coming up in Phoenix where you'll learn from our top income earners. We have one coming up in Dubai. I'll be doing a training in Colombia, South America. We've doing these trainings all over the world. And so what does getting started look like? $499 gets you started, $99 monthly. Now, some people say, Matt, what if it doesn't work? My answer is always the same. What if it does? I failed in 11 businesses before I had any success in life. Thank goodness I didn't quit. Thank goodness I kept going. If we're honest, most of us have shoes and clothes in our closet, more than $500 worth that we don't wear anymore, right? And so hopefully you're the kind of person who's just willing to take a chance on yourself. We have our Africa pricing. Anyone is in Africa, $279 gets you started and $50 a month. And then the last couple of things I'll talk about here is just timing. Your friend who invited you, they're telling other people than just you. And so you have the ability to secure the highest available position within one of their two teams. Now, once you have secured that position, it's like you own a piece of real estate. Anyone they refer after you on the team that you're on has to go below you. So if they refer Andy, Andy grows a team of 100 members. That's 100 members on whose team? Your team, right? That count towards your commissions. Now, some people are professional procrastinators. They're always thinking about it. So they go to the think about it corner. Andy joins. If this was you in this case, you'd go on Andy's team. Same scenario. Andy grows a team of 100 members. In this case, it's not 100 members on your team because you waited. And the only reason I show this is not to say anyone's going to join your team. There's no guarantees that anyone's going to join your team, right? My coaching is this. If you know you're going to do this anyway, right? You just feel it. You're like, hey, this sounds fun. I want to travel. I want to make money. Do it sooner rather than later so you don't miss out on someone like Andy. Okay. And at this point, you fall into one of three categories, an A, a B, or a C. And before I even tell you what the three are, I just want to say this. In 30 years of entrepreneurship. I don't feel old enough to have been an entrepreneur for 30 years, but for years I ran a coaching company and I coached executives and, business leaders. And the thing that I noticed about the most successful people I ever worked with is they had the ability to make a decision, right? They trusted their instinct, right? The most unsuccessful people I ever worked with, the most frustrating clients I ever had were the ones who they always struggled to make a decision. They always question themselves, right? They're never sure of themselves. They're always on the fence. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And what I'm telling you today is I want you to follow your instinct, follow your gut. If you don't like anything that I said today, you are a C. A C means it's not for you. Right? If you're not in love with travel, if you're making all the money you want, if this doesn't resonate with you, you are a C. It means it's not for me. Don't let anyone convince you to join, right? That's the right answer for you, okay? That's a C. A B is someone who wants to come join the travel side. You want to do the membership, but not the business, okay? If you're a B, that's an amazing decision. That's the right choice for you, right? And then if you're an A, you want to do the membership and you want to do the business. And A stands for all in. You want to plug into the system, plug into the mentorship, make money, travel, see the world. And if you are an A or a B, I'll be the first one to say, welcome to the family. You have made an amazing decision to do this. And if you're a C, hey, thank you for being here. If things change for you, understand that this may be the first time you're hearing about Viago. It won't be the last. There's going to be a lot of other people calling you about Viago, right? And so now you know what we're all about. And so if something changes and you decide you want to come play with us later, we'll welcome you with open arms. And so that is it for me. Thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over to someone who is a mentor of mentors. She is someone who has been a millionaire creator. She's someone who I heard about for probably 15 years before I ever had the chance to meet her because of the positive impact that she has made in so many people's lives, not only becoming a multi-millionaire herself, but helping hundreds and hundreds of other people do the same thing. And she is just an absolute joy, a blessing for so many thousands of people. So I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Miss Sherry Sharman.
Oh, Matt, you know what? I'm so excited about this because for all of you that are guests on this call, this is my first opportunity to share the platform with Matt. And I'm telling you, this has been a dream come true for me because I have watched this young man come up through the ranks and just excel. And he is going to be doing a training here in a few minutes. And you know, what I'm most impressed with is about 10 minutes ago, we were at like 79 people on this call. And I told everyone on this call that there's a magic number of 100. And I know Matt knows this. When you have 100 people on a Zoom call, when you have 100 people at a training, when you have 100 people in your team, you know, all of a sudden magic happens. And don't ask me why. I've seen it, you know, and you know, when I call him a young man, I'm going on my 40th year in this industry. And you know, when I got involved, you know, he was talking about teachers. I was a Montessori preschool teacher. And, you know, just like someone called you on the call to get you on this call to take a look at what they're doing, that is what a good friend of mine did. And guess what I told him when he tried to get me to come and take a look at it? I told him no. I told him no multiple times. In fact, for 30 minutes, my friend begged me to get on a call like this. Oh, actually, it was a personal meeting. It was what's called a 2-on-1, two people with me. And I said no over and over and over again. Thank goodness my friend who rests his soul has gone to heaven, David Byer, which I will always give him credit for the beginning of my career, for him not giving up. He said these words to me. He said, based on our friendship, Sherry Sharman, why wouldn't you give me an hour of your time? Wow. And I went, whoa, I don't know about you, but friendship is like one of my highest values in life is how my friend, you know, how my friends are, you know, taking care of my friends, working with my friends, you know, having fun with my friends. So when he said that, I said, yes. And thank goodness I did, because it changed the whole direction of my life. I went from broke, living in Southern California as a single mom, raising my son, having a really hard time making ends meet. I invested every dime I had extra into personal development. When people say, well, how did you hit a home run, you know, your first time at bat in this industry? Because I went from $11,000 a year. Remember, I was part-time, to making $258,000 my first year in the industry. And I can tell you, it was the personal development I did, and it was building sales teams. See, Sherry Sharman, before this industry, I was earning $11,000 a year. When you think about that, to go from $11,000 a year to $250,000 a year was because there was one person responsible for my income when I was an employee. If I didn't work, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't get paid. When my son would get sick, I had to make a decision. Having enough money for food or stay home with him. And guess what I chose? I stayed home with him. And what ended up happening was the difference between 1 year, 12 months later, was because of a sales organization. And Matt will attest to that. He just told you. I've seen photographs of him on stage with 20,000 plus people in a sports arena, and him on stage wowing the crowd. This young man that was pouring his heart out because he wants to teach people how to become successful. And that's what he's going to do here in just a few minutes. He's going to teach you what he's done. He is going to show you the value of our training system, which I'm going to tell you right now, for all of you that are brand new on this call, I would invest the time. I would take a few more minutes, stay on the call, and I'm watching, we're letting people in constantly because people are reaching out to all their sales teams and friends and saying, Matt's about to talk about his training and share with you how he became successful. Most successful people don't do this. Do you understand? Most successful people are too busy on their yachts or airplanes or wherever they are to take time and teach average people how to live an above average lifestyle. You're going to get to see this in just a few seconds here. And Matt, thank you for your time. I know you just got back from a trip, and I know, you've had life happening, with your phone and all these other little challenges that go on in life, but you're here, and we thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. And I'm just keep letting people in. I'm like, we're like almost 125 people from around the world, and I just saw, and somebody says it's too late. I just saw Lillian Ong from Singapore, and it's after 1 a.m. and she's on this call with her team. So when you start looking at, people are hungry. They're hungry for success. They're hungry to have a shortcut on how to become successful in this industry. And there is nothing, ladies and gentlemen, better than residual income. And there's no one better to not only explain to you how to achieve it, but he walks his talk. He leads by example. He's authentic. Those are words that in this day and age are rare. So with that, I'm going to turn the call back to you, Matt, and we are so grateful for your time. Let's everybody give him some hearts and love, and let's get this party started.
All right. Amazing. Thanks, Sherry. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for putting this call together. Thank you for inviting me. You do so many trainings and presentations, and you just give of your data. And let's hop into it. I mean, Sherry had asked me to kind of talk about, like, what are the things, how did you build such a big organization? And have been blessed, in the network marketing industry. I've been involved for 30 years now. I got started when I was 18 in college. Had a cute waitress who I was working with one night. She said, "You ever think about being in business for yourself?" And I wanted to build rapport with her. And I said, "Yeah, all the time." And so she said, "Write your number down. We'll talk business sometime." And because I wanted to talk business with her, I gave her my number. She called me the next night, invited me to a hotel to talk business, and I saw my first network marketing presentation and got excited. I didn't understand residual income, but what I got was like, wow, I could work really hard one time, stop working, and keep getting paid. And I was the kind of person who always struggled in school. I finished in the half of the class that made the top half possible, right? I always felt like I was never as smart as the other kids. I wasn't as athletic as the other kids. I wasn't as popular as the other kids. I was below average in every way. Every way. I was average or below average, right? And so I didn't have a lot of confidence. And the thought of climbing the corporate ladder, my first semester in college, I thought maybe I'll try to be a doctor. And I failed biology, I failed chemistry. I went to the economics school. Because I couldn't get into the business school. I had to take Calculus 101, the most basic calculus class, and I failed it with like a 40. I had to have that to get a degree. So I took the same class the next semester, same textbook, same lesson plan, same everything, and I still failed it, right? I was a terrible student. And so for me, network marketing was like, wow, I don't have to be super smart. I don't have to be all these things that I thought you had to be in order to have, typical success. And it was unnerving how bad I was. I mean, my first year, my first 2 years, I sponsored 3 people, 2 of which I paid for to get in. One was my mom, who I never told her she was in, right? Right. I mean, at the end of 2 years, I had one person in my group, just me, right? And it didn't get a lot better from there. I mean, I joined another company, and then I joined another company and another company. And I was like, man, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. I was so frustrated. And when people are like, well, how did you make, nearly $20 million over a 12-year period? Over $250,000 a month at the high point. And it was awesome. Like I did an international trip every single month on average. I would do two, three, four, five country tours, right? We filled up arenas. It was an awesome experience that we're in the process of doing here with Viago as well, all over again. And the things that I had to do were fairly simple, right? Um, I'm going to give you a training that you're you're probably not expecting, and maybe you don't even want, but it's what you need. There's a couple big things. Like number one, I had very little to do with that success. The success came from working with a lot of other really powerful leaders. And so while I was blessed to become the number one income earner in that company, it had way more to do with the team and the system and the leadership than anything to do with me. Right? I just worked hard. I just plugged in. And the good thing for you is you just need to plug in. You don't have to be anything crazy special. You're going to have to transform in some ways that I'm going to talk about, but understand you don't have to be a superstar to have superstar success. Everyone wants to know the secret, like, technique, right? What's the secret script? What's the certain secret that you do this? And I'll tell you right now, I'm not the best at anything. Right? I'm not the best at finding people to talk to. I'm not the best at prospecting. I'm not the best inviter. I'm not the best closer. I'm not the best presenter. I'm not the best, certainly not the best at getting new people started. I just worked hard. If you want to know my secret, over the course of 12 years, I sponsored about 400 people. And 400 people probably sounds like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But it's about 3 a month on average. I never got out of personal production mode. Right? I just stayed in personal production mode. And there's a mentor of mine who was mentored by Sherry. He taught me something really cool. He said, the more money you make, the more money you make. And once I started making money, I was like, well, man, instead of retiring, let me just keep working and maybe I'll make more money and more money. And the money just kept compounding and compounding and compounding. We just finished I think, a 12th month in Viago. We're a year old. December was our 12th or 13th month. And I track my numbers every single month. And every single month for 12, 13 months in a row, my active membership count has gone up. Every single month, my overall count has gone up, 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 up. So what happens in network marketing, you got to understand the power of what we have access to. If you stay in production mode, if you just keep doing a little bit, and I do this on a part-time basis. I am super busy. We have 45 employees with our company. It's a lot, right? And so I am super busy there, but every week I put time into Viago. I do some presentations, I do some trainings, right? I'm just keep putting effort in. It's that consistent effort over time. And so over those 12 years, I sponsored about 3 people per month on average. And I pushed the trainings. Just like you encourage someone to join, encourage them to get to the big event. Because when you get people to the big training events, like we got an event coming up. Sherry, I'd love to hear you talk about the event that we have coming up in Phoenix. And you came into our community here in Viago, and I think you came to a training before you actually joined. And so I just pushed the training, just like I look at it like this. I don't have anyone. They're not really in the business until the business gets in them. And the business doesn't get in them, Viago doesn't get in them until they get to a training. And so, Sherry, would you mind kind of just talking about the training and the power of what we have access to?
Absolutely. And oh my gosh, I am so excited what you're sharing, Matt, because people think that, they look at my results and they don't realize that I spent 10 years in personal development before I got involved in this industry. I used rent money sometimes to go to an event, and my mom was personal assistant to Tony Robbins. I got to, do a lot of his trainings, and and this is back in the 80s. Some of you weren't even born yet, which is kind of funny. But, when I look at trainings, I'm a product of training. The reason why I am here and what my passion is, and I have this right, like, I don't know about you, but I do sticky notes. I don't know if you guys can see that. If it says purpose-driven life, I believe that purpose-driven life is everything that motivates me. As long as I'm doing something that I feel is on purpose, I'm so excited. People say, how do you do so many calls? I mean, last week, I think we did like 20 Zoom calls because we're ending, 2025. And it's because it's my purpose. It's something that is inside of me. I love seeing new people. I love watching people's growth. And when you shared your story, you didn't hit it out of the park when you first got involved in this industry. You were working on your personal development. So if you're here on this call now I'm talking to people that have been around for a little bit. I'll talk to the new people here in a second, but I'm talking to the people that have been around and if you look at 25 and you go, I didn't hit my mark. I didn't have my goals. I didn't reach my goals for 2025. Well, guess what? Neither did I. I reached Emerald in 2025. I was shooting for Black Diamond, just so you guys know. I think big. And I really truly believe it's possible and it's going to happen, but my timeline wasn't correct. This took a little bit more learning. I've never done travel. This is a whole new territory for me. I'm learning so much from people like Matt, from Shard. I mean, I see so many. I see Jen on this call. I see people that have actually taken me under their wing and are showing me some of the tips on how, I mean, the twins. Oh my gosh, those girls, they travel the world and build their business by taking people on escapes. So it's like, I'm going, okay, I got things to learn here. But one of the things that made the difference for me was the training of what in fact, I had a training company called One Big Team, and now that's become part of our message here is that, yes, we're in different teams here. And yes, we have different uplines and all that kind of stuff, but we work as one big team. Any call I ever do, you'll always see it open to the whole company because I believe building the company first. That is number one. As long as the company's doing well, guess what? The rest of us will be doing well. Because I've built several companies, Matt, and I know you know this, that, been the top income earner in many companies. But what would end up happening is that the company owner, either their ego got out of check, they ran with the money, or they ran out of money, So it's like what would happen is I'd have to start all over. And what was very intelligent was my upline, who's Muzaffar Najfi, who used to be one of my students when he was 21 years old, who's now a co-founder, just the same as Matt and Jesse and a bunch of other leaders out there. He invited me to come to the launch of Viago. And that was just a year ago. And, I went strictly, I just invested $1.5 million with my husband in a franchise. These beauty salons franchises where you go in and we got a 6,000 square foot building, gutted it, built it all up to salon suites. We have 29 salon suites. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is 1 month later, I see Viago. We went into the franchise business, excuse me, we went into the franchise business knowing that it's going to be 2 to 3 years for us to recoup our investment. Our ROI is 2 to 3 years away. We knew that. I saw Viago, and when Matt was talking about that Club 6, I'm going, that Club 6 right here, I'm going to get that done this week. We were in profit mode our first week with Viago. So when you look at that, ladies and gentlemen, you show me a business that you can start out for $500 and have an overhead of $99 a month. Do you know my overhead is? $28,000 a month on my franchise. That's business. Business people know that's just typical. That's not, and when you have employees and all these other things and like that, it all adds to it. So what we're talking about is a training that you can be in profit mode this month if you go to work with us. And like, you know, I don't do the presentations. I get people like Matt to do the presentations. I just get good at inviting people. And guess what? Some people say yes, majority say no. Get used to it. If you're getting started in this business, don't look at count the no's, count the yeses, focus on those. I actually have a window of a huge giant mirror, and I put all the people that say no to me on that mirror. You know why? Because they're my motivation. Because those don't mean no to me, they mean not now. That means that they are going to be in my business in the next 5 years. They just don't know it yet. It's all, Matt talked about it. It's timing. So the training that's coming up here, we are kicking off 2026, and some of you are going to take advantage of what we've got. This month, we have got Playbook in Phoenix, Arizona. I know I saw Susie Dunn on here. She's already rented a van. And she's got like 6 or 7 people in a van. This woman is 77 years old, and she is driving from Mount Shasta to Phoenix with a whole group of ladies to come and see Viago. See, that is what a leader does. I can't tell you how many times I've had tons of people in my hotel room, because I want them to see the company I'm in. With Viago, I promise you, you get them to Phoenix, they're going to be on fire. They are going to hear from Matt on stage, Mazafar, Jesse, all the top leaders on stage. In fact, I was just invited to be able to be on stage, and this will be my first coming out party in Phoenix. And I'm so happy because guess what? I've never seen a group of people that work so well together. The Good Life trainers, to become a part of that is a privilege and an honor, and I'm so excited. So I want all of you there to come celebrate with us, because you are going to get to also, and it's not even about me, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get to hear from Helen, who's captured Europe and Africa, who's a new Blue Diamond, who's going to be awarded her Blue Diamond trophy on stage in Phoenix, Arizona. I know a lot of you that are on this call are coming to Dubai. I'm going to be there too. I'm coming to Dubai because I believe, and I'm going to the training. And people say, well, you just went to Playbook in Phoenix. Why would you go to Dubai? Because guess what? That's what leaders do. Leaders lead by example. They show people what to do. They don't just tell people what to do. And that is what we're going to be doing there. So I am so excited about this. And Matt, this is something that I truly believe. I believe that Viago is going to be the biggest and baddest company in our industry. I wouldn't have come out of retirement unless I believed that. And there's no way that I would have signed up without meeting Isaac Ben Shabbat and Eddie Head. That is the founder and the CEO of our company. I needed to meet them in the flesh, and I'll tell you why. I've had such bad experiences with owners, and if you've been in this industry before, ladies and gentlemen, put it behind you. There are good ones out there, and we have the best. And I promise you, and Matt, maybe you can talk about, because you've worked with Eddie for a long time, and I know that Isaac made a big difference for you to come on board and bring your organization in this. Will you explain to people why it is so important to have a good owner and someone who's running the ship that is taking us in the right direction, that has been there and done it before? Can you explain that to everyone?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everything that you said was so good, so spot on. And, it is, Unfortunately, or fortunately, because there was a lot of great learning lessons. I think transformation often comes from pain as much as it does from success, probably more so. And so I'm grateful for those negative experiences. But, when I met Isaac, it was one of those situations where someone had explained what it was like meeting Isaac, and I thought he was full of, you know what? He's like, when you meet Isaac, you kind of you just kind of like, is this guy for real? Like you can just see like into him. You feel like he can see into you. He's got a weird thing about him, and it's really powerful. And then when I met Isaac, I was like, that guy was right. It's just a unique thing. There was this, I used to have these shirts that said, and then I met Isaac. Like people are like, oh, I'm never going to do network marketing again. And then I met Isaac. I would never join a company. And then I met Isaac, right? And it was the same for me. And then I met Isaac. And, Eddie and I have, Eddie's a great, great friend of mine. We've done so much together over the years, and he is one of the smartest people I've ever met. If you get Isaac, who is so genuine and pure and soulful and crazy, unique and powerful background in business, generating billions of dollars before he even started a network marketing company. So has that, business mastery. And then Eddie is one of the smartest people you'll ever meet. I mean, just a creative genius. So well connected, was the president of the biggest travel club in the world, right? And so connections all over the world, like understands travel more than almost anyone in the world, right? And so you have the combination of these two guys together. And then you take that and you combine it with what I believe is oh, look at that, sweetheart. Oh, so you combine that with the most powerful training system in network marketing with the Good Life training. I mean, the way that we build leadership, and this is something, if you're brand new, like we have created what I would consider to be a leadership development factory. Once you hit Sapphire, you qualify to come in and go through our speaker training program, right? Our trainers mastery program. And you learn how to essentially touch, move, and inspire people, how to create results, how to step up as a leader, leadership secrets and trainings. And it is just such a powerful system. And what happens in hyper growth type companies, and as you grow a company, if you're not growing leadership at the same level that you're growing revenues, you end up sabotaging revenues, right? Because the leadership isn't rising with the revenues. It's not rising with the growth. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we a lot of the leaders who are part of Viago have been able to, create companies that have done billions of dollars in sales, because we've figured out this leadership thing, right? And how to train leaders. And so you may have no one in your group right now. Just understand, when you get into our training environment, we know how to build leadership. We know how to build success. And years ago, I was actually in Monte Carlo. We did an incentive trip in Monte Carlo, a beautiful place. And we were doing a leadership dinner with multiple six-figure per year earners and seven-figure earners. And I was doing like surveys. I did two different surveys. One was interesting. The first survey I did was, what was your objection when you saw the presentation for the first time? And I asked about 15 different leaders, and only one had an objection. He said, there was one guy who said, oh, I didn't have the money, but I was in. I had to wait till Friday until I got my money, and then I joined. But so it was an objection, but I was in. I just had to come up with the money. Everyone else, there was no objection. They just said, I'm in. And so understand that the people who are going to build your business, like we get frustrated because people tell us no, right? We the number one fear in the world, they say, is the fear of public speaking. That's just the fear of being rejected publicly. It's rejection. It's the number one fear in the world. And so we get caught up and like it stops us because people that we love or care about tell us no. Understand the people who are going to go build it big, they're not going to have those objections, right? They're just going to be in. And I had a lot of great mentorship early in my career. And while I may not have had a lot of success in my first 5 years, I learned a ton. And it was that learning, just like Sherry was in personal development for 10 years before she got into network marketing. And no surprise, she had a lot of success because she built herself up. I had to build myself up. And one of my mentors, he said, professionals sort, amateurs sell. It's not that you don't want to be persuasive, right? I feel like my presentation is fairly persuasive. But I don't like, for me, I know what I have my hands on. I know that I have the blessing. I have the gift. Viago is the blessing. Viago is the gift. My job is to simply offer the gift to others. Not everyone is going to take the gift, right? So don't let yourself be knocked out of the game because other people don't want the gift. You may know they need the gift. They may be struggling in life. They may be drowning in life. Maybe they're drowning financially. And Viago is like a lifesaver. You see someone, and maybe it's someone you love and care about, and you know they're drowning, and you're like, here, take the lifesaver, and they won't take it. And you're like, take the lifesaver. You know you need it. You're struggling financially. You hate your job. You can't pay your bills. Take it. And you keep throwing the same lifesaver to the same person over and over who's never going to take it. So stop throwing the lifesaver to people who aren't going to take it, who don't appreciate it, who don't see it for the blessing and gift that it is, and go throw it to someone else. You want to know my secret of sponsoring 400 people? I went and got rejected by about 1,200. I had about 1,200 people told me no. And I just said, okay, thanks. And I throw it to someone else. I feel kind of bad for them because I know what I have. I know I have the gift. I know I have the blessing. And see, we look at it in the wrong way sometimes. Sometimes you're looking at Viago like, okay, I need to get people in the business so that I can earn a commission or so that I can hit the next rank, right? And so you look at your prospect as the blessing. Understand, if you're looking at your prospect as the blessing, you have it all wrong. You have the blessing. You are the blessing. You are the blessing because you have the blessing of Viago. You have the lifesaver. Your job is to offer the blessing. I'm going to offer the blessing, offer the lifesaver, right? To as many people as possible. This is what I got right. It took me years to figure this out because what used to happen is I'd go show the business to someone because it took a lot for me just to prospect someone, to find someone. I was a shy kid. I was a kid who hid behind his mom. I can still remember hiding behind my mom's legs when I met people when I'm like 4 or 5 years old, right? Because I was so terribly shy. And so it took so much for me to get out of my comfort zone to invite someone. And then when they said no, it crushed me. And I wouldn't show anyone for the next month because that rejection hurt so much. And I didn't want to feel that rejection. And I let that stop me. And so when I finally got it right, when I finally understood, Matt, your job is to go get as many no's as possible because the only way we get a yes is to go through a no because no one gets 100% yeses. Sherry, as good as she is, like someone would have to be like borderline brain dead not to work with her, right? You would think like, how could anyone tell her no? Like they'd have to be kind of off their rocker to say no. She gets no's. She gets rejected. I get rejected, right? And that's our job. It is to offer the blessing. And the only way we get people to say yes is to get people to say no, right? And so that's the thing. When I sit down with someone, if I'm on a Zoom or if I'm in person, I know that I can change their life. I know I can help make their life more rich and more full through this blessing of Viago. And when they say no, I feel a little bit bad for them. But here's the thing, I stop feeling bad for me. Stop feeling bad for you when someone tells you no. They're not telling you no. They're saying no to Viago. They're saying no to the blessing. And maybe they have another dream. Maybe they have another goal. Maybe Viago's not their deal. Hey, that's fine. But you can't convince me. You can't convince me that there's not someone else waiting for you to show them Viago. There's someone in your life, there's someone in your sphere of influence who's praying for an opportunity to come along. They're just waiting. And if you let that rejection rob you of success, guess what? It's also robbing the other people who are waiting. And so if you genuinely care about people and you want to help people get good at going through the numbers, get good at sorting. And this is two secrets of success. I heard a lady say this one time, and for whatever reason, it just struck a chord with me. She said, there's two secrets to success. It's consistency and love of the game. And see, when you fall in love with the game, and this is what happened with me, in network marketing was a means to an end in the beginning. It wasn't that I love network marketing. It was that I wanted money and I wanted time freedom. And I had this philosophy like, I'm going to crawl through broken glass. I'll do whatever it takes. And I had this nose to the grindstone mentality, and I toughed it out for 5 years of failure, 5 years of spending more than I was making. But I'm a Marine, right? I'm tough. Yeah, like I went through boot camp and I'm loaded with discipline, and I'll succeed if it kills me. And that was kind of the energy that I was bringing to network marketing, was like this success at all costs. And if you're into that, be into that. But I saw my mentor. My mentor was so in love with the process, was just always having fun, and hard worker, worked really hard, but he was always joking around. I mean, you saw his presentation, and his presentation was like a comedy show. You know, it was like he didn't care if people joined, didn't join. He just had so much fun. And I realized part of the reason why I wasn't staying consistent is because I hadn't really fallen in love with the game. And I just decided, you know what, let me just fall in love with the process. Let me decide that when I go do a presentation, my goal isn't even to enroll that person. My goal is to either strengthen that relationship or form a new friendship. I have so many friends all over the world. I remember creating a bucket list when I was 24 years old, and I said, one of my goals is to have close personal friends on every continent. And I thought that sounds so unrealistic. Like, who am I to have friends on every continent? Today it's true. Well, maybe not Antarctica, but right. I don't know anyone there, but most of the continents. I had close personal friends, like people who I could be like, hey, I'm flying into Norway. Can I stay at your house? And they'd say, yes, absolutely. I mean, people I haven't talked to in a year. I could be like, hey, I'm flying into Malta. Can I stay with you? And they'd be like, yeah. Right. And so how do you turn this into joy all the time? Right. I remember I learned from a guy in my group, and someone said, what do you like to do? And he said, present. And I was like, you know what? I like to present. So people ask me, what are your hobbies? I like to present. I like to do trainings. I mean, I'm fired up after every presentation I do. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I decided that I love the game. I'm going to fall in love with the game. And when you fall in love with the game, guess what? It's easy to be consistent. We all know we need to be consistent. So how do we get ourselves to be consistent, right? And it is more than anything else, it is a belief system. And it's transforming your success is all about transforming your belief. So there's, I don't know how I want to talk about, I'm thinking of how I want to talk about this. So transformation is like not getting better, right? There's a thing called more, better, different. And then there's transformation. Transformation is essentially stepping into a new way of being, right? Absolutely transforming your results. And transforming your results happens from transforming your thinking, right? And there's nothing bad about more, better, different, but it doesn't change the fundamental set of convictions or beliefs that you have, right? So transformation is a shift in the context of your life. About what you see as true about yourself, what you see as true about others, what you see as true about the world. Transformation is letting go of previously assumed realities or beliefs, right? Like I used to think network marketing was so hard. I used to think network marketing or money was hard to come by. Is there truth to that? Is network marketing really hard? Well, it's hard for a lot of people. I eventually decided, you know what? Network marketing is actually really easy for me. It's super easy for me. I stopped saying it was so hard. I started saying it's so easy for me. Why? Because I love it. I love presenting. I love it when people reject me. I get excited because I'm closer to success. I get excited when someone rejects me. If I have a really bad meeting, I get excited because I'm proud of myself. Right? And I started seeking being proud of myself more than just the results. Where it used to be, if I didn't create results, I was mad at myself. I would beat myself up. How many of you have beat yourself up in Viago? You beat yourself up in network marketing because you did a bad presentation or you blew someone out or whatever it is. Well, change the context, change your belief and your conviction about what's really true. So the question we want to ask ourselves very often is, what's really true? And when we can let go of negative beliefs about things, it opens up the door for a new possibility, right? New beliefs create new possibilities. And so I think about, like, so many people, I think, operate in a way where they don't really think about their beliefs. It's like, a fish in water is a good example, right? A fish isn't aware that it lives in water. Maybe it doesn't even see the water. It's not aware of the water, but its entire life revolves around the fact that it exists in water. Just like everything in our life revolves around the belief system that we operate in, right? The belief that I operated in for years was a belief of scarcity. Money's hard to come by because I grew up with a single mom who worked 2 jobs to work her way through college, and money was always hard to come by. We were on welfare. We were on food stamps. I'd never had the nice clothes that other kids had in school. I always felt less than. So I operated in a belief, a context of scarcity, right? And so the context of your life, your belief system shapes the content of your life. So guess what? I struggled with money because I always believe money's hard to come by. Is there truth to that? No, money's everywhere. There's, last I checked, there was 58 million millionaires. There's more now, but last I checked, it was 58 million millionaires in the world in US dollars. 58 million. Money's everywhere. There's so much money. But we operate in scarcity. And as long as you have scarcity in the inner world, you'll always produce scarcity in the outer world, right? Someone who operates under the belief that I have bad genetics and I'm out of shape because I have bad genetics, they're never going to be fit. They're never going to feel fully alive and energetic and vibrant. Why? Because they're operating under a false context of having bad genetics. Right? And mine was so true. I just had this, like, I feel like, I've grown so much as an entrepreneur, and I've gone, my intellect has grown, and, all these things. And then I realized I'm operating in a very negative context of life. So my September, I get a call from my daughter. I watch my daughter. She's running cross country. She's in track. She's run through, like, she had shin splints and ankle issues and knee issues, and she just keeps going. She just keeps going and like inspiring me. And so it got me thinking, like, well, man, that's inspiring. And then my brother, he's like, hey, there's a triathlon, a sprint triathlon coming up. We should do it. And I was like, immediately, I was like, I can't do that because I have bad knees. I have scoliosis. I have a 30% curve in the bottom part of my back. My hips are both, they're tilted and curved, right? And if I run, my knees hurt. And I've held on to this for 30 years. Anyone who would ever, any conversation about running, oh, I can't run because I have scoliosis and I have bad knees, and it's like a genetic thing. I can't run. And I remember talking to a runner one time, and she was like, well, have you ever gotten like real running shoes? And have you ever done mobility work? And I was like, no, I just can't do it. Right? I just can't. And then I decided, you know what, I'll do this one thing. It's like a 3-mile run, a swim, a 15-mile bike ride, whatever, I'll do it. And then I'll be done. Well, I enjoyed the process so much and it didn't kill me. So I was like, well, let me run a 5K and like see how fast I can run it. So I registered for a 5K and I beat the time that I thought I could. And then I was like, you know what, let me register for a marathon. So I've run like, I'd never run more than, I think in the Marine Corps, maybe I ran 5 or 6 miles in boot camp one time. I mean, I'm running that today. This morning, I ran 5.5 miles. Like, it's nothing to me now. I ran 8.5 miles the other day, right? The context that I was operating in, the belief system that I was operating in was totally false, absolutely false. And I had to change that about myself. And so what I want you to think, I want to finish up here and just have you start thinking, like, what are the limiting beliefs that you've been operating in? What's the context of your life that you've been operating in that doesn't serve you? And it all comes down to, like, what are you really convicted about? I was convicted that I can't be a runner because I have scoliosis, bad knees, total bullshit, no truth to it. But I was so convicted. You couldn't have convinced me otherwise. When I got into network marketing, I'm going to show you something. Like what I do, I think about my thinking a lot. Maybe that sounds weird, but I think about my thinking a lot these days. And I was doing some notes the other day. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. I just earlier was like, maybe I'll talk about this, and I haven't found it yet. But when it came to network marketing, my belief was that, because the context of my life was that I'm shy, I'm not smart, I've never been a leader, I've never been popular. Network marketing is going to be really hard for me compared to other people who are more like naturally great at it. And so this is what I found it. So these are my beliefs about network marketing, my convictions that I've decided are true about network marketing. And many of these I created many years ago. So number one, network marketing is the #1 business model in the world that empowers anyone to go from nothing to absolute financial freedom. Like, I believe that anyone can do this. It's the #1 business model in the world. Number two, no other business model in the world provides the combination of financial freedom, lifestyle freedom, and personal fulfillment. No other business. Like, I run a very successful like we do a lot of business, but I'm telling you, there's a sacrifice in almost every other business. The sacrifice is either fulfillment or time freedom, right? You may make a lot of money, but it is a lot of work, a lot of management headaches. When I made, 2.8 million is my best year in network marketing, I had one personal assistant who would help me book flights and manage team promotions and things like that. One employee that didn't work in an office. Like, that's freedom. That is freedom. And the fulfillment of knowing that we get to succeed by helping other people succeed. There's no other business model in the world that allows for that I know of, where you get to live an amazing, rich, full life by helping other people get what you have, right? Number three, And this is something that I decided at 24 years old. There's just something special about me that makes me one of the greatest network marketing leaders in the world. Now, I chose that conviction, I chose that belief before I was earning six figures. And I'll tell you where it came from. It was my mentor, who was a 10 out of 10, the best network marketer I had ever seen. Amazing in every way, great closer, great presenter, dressed nice, platinum Rolex, S-Class Mercedes, you name it, like a walking personal development book. And he challenged me one day. I was like edifying him. And he's like, Matt, I want you to learn from me, learn from everyone else so that one day you'll be better than all of us. Are you up for that challenge? And I lied to him and said, yes. I'm like, there's no way I could be better than you, but yes, because you're my mentor and I have to say yes. But it got me to be in this question of like, how could I be better? And I couldn't think of anything. And because I couldn't think of any specific thing that would make me a great leader, I said, there's just something special about me. I don't know what today I don't know what it is. There's just something special about me. Guess what? There's just something special about you too. There's no one born with everything that you had. No one talks exactly like you. No one walks exactly like you. No one thinks exactly like you. So there's something special about you that can make you one of the best network marketers in the world. Some of you are looking for like, oh, I have to grow as a leader. I have to become this or that. No, you just have to be you and step into that powerful version of you. And so I realized like, man, the fact that I was shy, maybe that's something that's a strength for me. The fact that I wasn't popular is a strength for me. The fact that I failed for 5 years is a strength for me. I still use it today in my presentation. You guys heard me say I failed in 11 businesses in a row before I finally made it. I say it in every presentation pretty much, right? Whatever your failure is, that's your gift. That's your gift. Because guess what? You get to inspire all the other people who failed. If you're shy, you get to inspire all the other people who are shy. If you don't think you can do it, you can do it so much and so powerfully because you get to inspire all the other people who think they can't do it. You saying you can't do it is a lie from the pits of hell. There's no truth to it. You just believe it to be true, and so it's true. But understand, if you stay in that scarcity belief, you'll only produce scarcity results. Scarcity in the outer world comes from scarcity in the inner world. Abundance in the outer world comes from abundance in the inner world. So start stepping into a new context and belief and conviction for your life. One of my beliefs about network marketing is, for me, failure is an impossibility. I can always create massive results when I pour my energy into the business. Like network marketing for me is easy. I decide it's easy. I don't tell anyone else it's easy, right? I don't believe in that, right? At all. But for me, my core belief, my core conviction is that network marketing is easy for me. It's just impossible for me to fail. Why? Because I know there's people looking. If I'm willing to go through more no's than everyone else, I'm going to succeed. Because I know if I go through 10 no's, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses. I just have to be willing to go through the rejection. Another one, I have a masterful way of being able to touch, move, and inspire people to take action and step into their potential. I just decide, all right, that's what I decide gets to be true for me. Do I have any evidence of that? No. I'm gonna say this is my belief, and I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna look at it over and over, and remind myself of these things. The secret to my leadership is my other one. The secret to my leadership lies in knowing that every human possesses the same ability to manifest success as me. So it's not about me being great. It's about people being great, right? The only thing that makes me great is I believe we're all great. I believe if I'm sitting down with whoever my prospect is, they have the potential to be a multimillionaire through this blessing of Viago. And yeah, that makes me great, but only because I believe they're great. And I'll finish with this. Get really good at identifying greatness in others. My mentor did this, and I saw him do it with prospects, and he did it with me. And it was, he would find something that was true about whoever he's talking to and tell them, you know what I see in you? I see you've got a heart of gold. I see you've got ambition. I see you've got this. I see you have this. Like just telling people what's great about them. So start looking for what's great in other people and tell them. Most of us don't, most of us are not in an environment outside of network marketing. Most people are not in an environment where people are saying they're great. They're not pointing out the things that are amazing about them. You want to be a great leader? Find things that are amazing in other people and point it out. And I'm not talking about bullshit like, you're amazing. Don't tell, like, it doesn't hurt to say it, but I used to work with a guy and he would always say the same thing. You're amazing. You're unbelievable. No, find something. You know what? The way you do this, the way you are with your kids, the way you do this, the way you do that, right? Point those things out and tell people. And I can tell you, there's been, sometimes I like to do it in person, but sometimes I'll do it on a text and it'll just hit me. Like I'll have someone in my life, a leader, whatever, and something comes to mind and I send them a text and I say, hey, you know what is amazing about you is that you're always here for other people. You're always bending over backwards to help people. And that's the mark of a great leader. I'm telling you right now, you have everything it takes to be one of the very top leaders in Viago. And I've done this so many years now. And there's been a handful of times where when they get on stage to earn an award, they go back. I've had people read the text on stage. From something I said 2-3 years ago, I didn't even remember doing it. People hold on to that, right? So get good at finding greatness in others, and people will step up to that belief that you have in them. And so I know we have just over an hour. So my apologies for going a little bit over, but man, just love all of you. Sherry, thank you for hosting this call. Rika, thank you for hosting the intro for the presentation. You did an absolute amazing job. All of you for tuning in. Let's make 2006 something really special. Let's plug into Phoenix. If you're in Europe or Africa, plug into Dubai. If you're in Latin America, plug into Colombia. Get to that event and get as many people to the event as possible. The other survey that I did, I know it took me a little while to come back to the second survey, was at what point in your business did you decide to go all in? Every single one I asked, it was something they heard at a major event. So for you to go all in, to make a big decision, to change your life forever, to transform your life, it's going to happen at a big event. Understand, every single person in your group that makes a big decision to go all in Viago, push their chips in, put all their effort in, overcome their fears and their doubts and their anxieties and their self-limiting beliefs, and go do it anyway, it's going to happen from something they hear, something they experience, something they feel at these events. And so let's load hard for these events and let's make 2006 spectacular. So thanks for having me, Sherry. I'll turn it back over to you for any final comments.
Oh, thank you so much. And you know what? I don't know about you guys, but I took I can't see it. I have to put it in front of me. Lots of notes. Even in all the years I've been in this industry, there were so many golden nuggets that we will take this recording and post it so that you can get it to some of your teammates that may not have been able to be on here, because it was priceless. I wrote that in the chat, because one of the things about a great leader is they're real. And Matt, you are so real, and thank you so much for you pouring your heart out to everybody on here. And just so you guys know, I noticed to everyone that's on this call, and here we are, the 3rd of January, and most people will not even come alive until Monday. You know, here we are on Saturday. They're like, okay, I'm on vacation. Guess what? My life, every day I'm on vacation. Viago is a vacation. And when you think about what we do, and really think about it, ladies and gentlemen, we travel, we make money, we save money, and we have a hell of a lot of fun. And for all of you who out there wouldn't want that. So be excited about sharing this opportunity with others. Don't worry about the no's. It's all in timing, and I guarantee you, I'm going back to the people I talked to this last 2025 and see if the time is right. Take this time, send out messages. Matt, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. You know what? People, you never know when you send a message where that person is in life, and that could be a life-saving experience. For some people, this is a time of year when they just go, I can't do another year. This is our time to reach out to people and make a difference in their life. And I cannot wait to see either you and now you're wanting me to come to Columbia. You know, it's like I just love when you and Muzaffar do your magic together, because it's just like two different personalities that cover the whole group. And you know, for all of you that are on here, make a decision. Come to either Phoenix, Dubai, or Colombia, because I know, and I want to do a shout out to Africa right now, because I've been letting people in, because normally Rika does, but she didn't get to be a co-host on this, so I'm letting people in, and I'm so excited about doing this because I'm getting to see all the people. And do you know how many times Africa has been bumped off because of Wi-Fi, and they call back in and they get back on and they keep pursuing? And there's a reason why Africa right now is leading the momentum in our company, because they're on fire. They are passionate. You are going to get to hear from a woman who went blue diamond in a month after just reaching the level of diamond. I wouldn't miss that opportunity. She will be in Phoenix and in Dubai with her team. So for all of you that are on here that want to have a great 2026, let's get serious. I mean, let's show up. I mean, you guys know the list of calls that we do every single day to help you. All you have to do is get good at inviting. I've never had a system like this in my career, like what we have in Viago. And we want to help you succeed. We want you walking across that stage as Club 6. That is the best promotion I've ever seen in my career. Helping people get 6 people so they don't have to pay a membership fee. Are you kidding me? This is the best. So do me a favor. For all the guests that are on here, get with the person who invited you out. Let them know you're ready to get started. Let's sign up today, because you could start making money tomorrow with us. We'll help you do that. You just need to get people on these calls. And anyone that has a guest on this call, please thank them from us for taking the time. And we did go a little bit over, but it was so worth it. But I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait to see you in Phoenix, Dubai, and maybe Colombia. I'm really considering it now. All right, love you guys. Have a great, great weekend. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you at the top. Bye.